Hey everyone, I'm Brian Sparks, editor of Greenhouse Grower, and we are getting into the new year with the first of our videos with Dr. Allan Armitage. How are you today, Allan?
Hey Brian, I'm well, thank you. It is January to be sure, and it is winter in most parts of the country.
With snow and ice coming, what better time to talk about plants than really? I mean,
Oh,
you said what you're
absolutely.
expecting for snow and ice. So just to look ahead, as we get into the new year, what are you kind of hearing in terms of, what are some of the plants people are going to be looking for this year? And what's kind of jumping out at you, as we look at spring is not too far away, even with this weather coming. What can we expect in terms of plants that are going to be building some excitement
Uh,
this year?
You know, and again, just sort of back to winter. I know that everybody's talking about it. We've had some seasons where winter takes forever, or Ohio, it just seems to take forever. And of course,
Yeah.
we are farmers, and we are, and our not only our growing, but our marketing and our selling is all predicated by weather. So people are talking about that still. I mean, that's just the way it is. And but also what people hopefully understand, and certainly people in our industry should understand how good winter is for us.
Yeah.
The harder the winter, the better the spring sales. I mean, there's a balance between when spring comes and all that, but if people are really in cabin fever mode, when that breaks, boy, they want plants.
They're
So
ready.
we want a good hard, we do, we really do. And I say that not, and that's based on numbers, I think. But anyway, having said that, what are they looking for? Well, I can tell you what landscaper, well, I'll tell you the number one issue, and I mentioned it to you, the number one issue, which we probably can't do a whole hell lot about, except understand it, is deer.
Yep.
I've mentioned this 100 times to you, how important, well, how destructive deer are to the landscaper. I've talked to landscapers; they don't want to do it anymore. I mean, they just can't keep going back to the client and saying, "Well, sorry, everything got destroyed. We can put them back in again, but it's going to cost you this." And so when I say, there's certain choices, and I've mentioned it many times. There's many plants that deer don't eat without, being starving to death. One can certainly talk about it and do it properly. Choose the right plant, protect them as best they can. But that's an issue. We don't have a lot of really spectacular new plants that we can say, oh, boy, we put the deer proof gene in them. Now, if anybody did that, I mean that's $1 million plant right there. But we do have some like hellebores, and that's in the perennial side of the world. I think hellebores are still so strong, that's just one plant, and I say that because A, they are deer proofish.
Right.
B, they look beautiful in the spring and sometimes too early in the spring. In fact, in the greenhouse, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not starting to bloom pretty soon. But again, it's a plant that people understand. Lenten rose has been around forever. The new hybrids, the new work that's being done, I think it's just one of the major new plants that
Sure.
are coming along.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of thing. It's just not new, but that ability to tell people why it's better.
Right.
One more new hellebore doesn't mean anything unless you tell them, why they're better. They flowers they're straight up. There's colors, and the deer don't. I mean, we won't go any more in deer, but that's one of the issues.
Yeah.
And again, other plants that people are looking for, I still think, as much as I'm tired of listening about it, is this whole native and native R thing.
Mm.
It's not going to go away. I'm not sure anybody really truly understands it anymore. If it's native to, Southeast Ohio, or it's native to Northeast New York, or
Yeah.
it's native to the area. Let's not get too concerned about the nativity, but it's the plants that really are like I think another plant that I can almost put in the same conversation as hellebore are baptisias,
Mhm.
the false indigos.
Yep.
And I'd say that they've been around forever. I mean, this is nothing new, I know, but there's such good breeding going on. And again, they're not deer food. They will eat them, of course, but there's just, and it's a plant that's we can say it's native, it's colorful, it's perennial, it's cold hardy, it's all of these things. So that's a plant that I think whether or not people are looking for it, we certainly ought to be putting out in front of people.
Yeah, for sure.
And the whole, and I'll do one more if I can, Brian. I
Mhm.
know we're going on a little too long here. The plant I think that is, it's in the last 3 years, it's gone from nothing to actually, I won't say people asking for it, but the industry knowing about it.
Right.
And that's spigelia. And spigelia is a native plant, and it's just gone crazy. And I think if people start getting, and because, and the reason it's going crazy, again, native, perennial, all those cool things, really all those good things, very, very colorful. And but we've got the ability to propagate, get them in plugs, get them however. We got the ability so a grower can actually grow them.
Yep.
And the grower can then put them in a container and they look reasonable in the container. And they'll flower a reasonably early. But again, these are the kind of plants that are not necessarily new, but they're Lincoln Rose is forever old, but the new ones are new. Betsy is forever old, but the new stuff is just so much. I don't know if it's any better, but it certainly draws the eye. And of course, something like Indian pinks or spigelia, I think are just, they just get them, just put them out there. People are going to buy them.
Yeah, yeah, that's the whole point of this. And just to put a pin in the deer discussion for a second, so I was at the Man's Trade Show in Baltimore a couple weeks ago, and I sat in on, they call it the new product demonstration, where they're talking about some of the new products, and a lot of it was made up of breeders and growers talking about new plants, and they would rave about disease resistance and growth habit and all that. And just goes back to the overpromising on deer. You get one question from the audience on, is it deer resistant? And there'd be that little pause where it's like, okay, how much do I really want to commit to? Is this truly deer resistant? So,
No. Well, I mean, and again, I think I've been in the middle of this deer thing since day one. And it's not, you're not going to solve any problem. You're just going to talk about the fact. You just can't ignore it. And I don't think, there's lots of deer programs out there. I think we've got some growers and certainly IGCs that are really putting a lot of effort into deer resistant plants. They really are, and more power to them. And I hope they're making a return on their effort and the money they're spending. And I moved that one that I was involved in called Delirious. There's a ton of them out there, but we still got to understand that we don't have to say, well, this one may be 4 out of 4 deer, whatever, but just be there for them. That's all. Just be there. It's a problem. We just can't do a whole lot about it. We're not going to get rid of deer anytime soon. As many coyotes as we'd like to introduce, it's going to take us a while to get the deer population down.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, like we said at the beginning of the discussion, there's no better time to talk about new plants. So looking forward to spring getting here as soon as it can, and looking forward to all the plants you'll be able to find at retail this year. So thanks for joining me for this today, Allan.
You bet. It's going to be a great season. There's so many new things to have fun with, and people really do enjoy looking at what's new.